Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another alumni interview. I'm very fortunate to be here with Kate, who's one of our alums from the Ukraine. And we're going to ask her a few questions to learn a little bit more about her experiences at UWL and beyond. So first of all, welcome, Kate, and thank you for doing this interview with me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm wondering if you can start out by just introducing yourself and just giving us a little bit of your background.
Sure. So I was fortunate to attend UW La Crosse in 2001, so about 20 years ago, and I have had the best memory of my time at school and of course La Crosse area. And actually, this is what I made me fall in love with the United States. So Wisconsin was a great place to be and great place to come and visit.
Well, great. Well, starting out with just a really big question, how in the world did you ever hear about UW La Crosse and what made you choose it?
So my story is a little bit different in the sense that I didn't actually choose University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. I think University of Wisconsin-La Crosse chose me. I was a part of an exchange program that was sponsored by the Department of State.
Mhm.
So, and the program was that you apply and you go through a rigorous interview process, and administrators of the program at the Department of State work with local universities like University of Wisconsin-La Crosse on placing the students, exchange students like myself, into local universities. So that's how I end up being chosen. And when I got my um, placement, I was really excited because Midwest was very well known for strong academics, great places to live. So I was quite excited to come.
So I know it was a few years ago that you were at UW La
Yeah.
Crosse, but do you remember what your academic experiences were like? And did you have maybe like a favorite class or a favorite professor that really stood out?
So I think the academics at that time. So I came here for my second year of my bachelor degree. So I was quite young in my academic careers and still kind of exploring what my majors, my interests were. I think the biggest interests for me were finance classes and economics classes, which
Mhm.
kind of determined my ultimate path and career choices, to be quite honest with you. And those were the most challenging classes to take as well. Um, and so this is what I remember vividly, that I had to study really hard for some of my finance classes to pass. Um, yeah, so that would be probably my most the brightest spot in terms of it was hard, but I really liked the subject, and that's ended up being my career.
Mhm. So outside of the classes that you took, were you involved in anything else on campus, like student organizations or anything in the community?
So there are a couple of things I remember being a part of. So of course, as an international student, you're automatically a part of this really close knit international student community. So I've met a number of people from Japan, from China. I took classes with them. I hung out outside the classes and sort of formed that lifelong relationships with them. And of course, you gravitate towards people from either your neighboring countries or your country. So I had like two people from one from Russia, one from Ukraine when I was here. So we were really close friends. Um, until this day, we stay in touch. I also was fortunate to work on campus, and I was a part of a student center and activities in center. So I was working at front desks there, and that was my really first real job. So it was really exciting. I remember Cindy Current was my supervisor. I'm not sure if she still works on campus, but I had like the best memories of her and interacting with her and her staff. So that was really quite exciting.
That's awesome. All right. So then after you graduated, what was your career
So I actually, uh, an interesting story and a twist of fate, so to speak. When I was first in UW-La Crosse, I actually met my future husband,
Mm.
who who was from Wisconsin, from Richland Center, Wisconsin, and my roommate at that time went to the same high school as him. So we've met on campus that year, and after my year at UWL, I had to go back home to Ukraine to finish my degree, and we kept, staying in touch.
Mhm.
And we ended up getting married in a few years of long distance dating. And I end up coming back to United States, but already kind of as his wife. And there's a part two to my story with UW-La Crosse, because not only I came back to United States, I also came back to UW-La Crosse, and I got my master's degree with emphasis in finance from UWL, a few years later.
Mhm.
So I not only, went there as an exchange student, I had to go back as a graduate student as
Mhm.
well.
Well, so that actually is a really good lead into this next question. So knowing that you did part of your bachelor's degree at La Crosse and then your master's degree and had all these other experiences in between, when you look back at your experiences at UW La Crosse, like how did they as a whole prepare you for your career that you're in now?
You know, so what I would say was I have had a really great career after graduation from UW La Crosse.
Mhm.
And I took a job in Minneapolis working for a big manufacturing company. And I switched, a couple of employment places since. And I would say my master's degree and my knowledge probably ranks as high as others, my coworkers that actually went and got their degrees from Ivy League type of places. So I've never been intimidated, or I've never felt like my knowledge, my um, was less than theirs. So, and even comparing to my husband, who got his master's from University of Minnesota, Carlson School, he got his MBA from there. I think we were pretty comparable in terms of curriculum and knowledge and areas of study. So I would say definitely great value for the education you get. And you always have to remember that Midwestern schools are giving you a great solid foundation to start with. It doesn't mean that you don't have to work hard at your career afterwards, but you get all the knowledge, all the right resources afterwards. So I would definitely encourage people to consider places like UW La Crosse as their starting career. And another thing that I would bring up is when I was considering going back to get my master's degree, I made a decision to do it full time and get done with. I think I was done within a year and a half.
Mhm.
But I understand that's not a choices for everyone.
Mhm.
But if people do have this opportunity to take a break or go right into the master's degree, this is a great town to be in. It's a great program to have that very focused time to get education be done, and afterwards to focus on your career and your growth.
We've already touched on this quite a bit actually in that answer, but if you were talking to somebody right now who was considering coming to the US and maybe even considering
Mhm.
UW La Crosse, what would you say to them to maybe help them see if La Crosse was the right fit?
I would say that I would definitely would like to um, for them to explore UW La Crosse,
Mhm.
but also understand that you're going to be a part of a small town,
Mhm.
which is very safe and very nurturing,
Mhm.
in my opinion, to all the students, in particular international students. So I would definitely consider it. I would definitely go for a challenging major such as accounting or finance, or I would not pick a general studies, for instance,
Mhm.
or think of it where you want to go and be very focused and very intentional about the classes,
Mhm.
because it's your golden opportunity just to focus on your studies and get this understanding under your, get your fundamentals done. Second piece I want to bring up to international students, because UW-La Crosse is a fairly small university, you will end up knowing and having very close relationships with other peer international students and some other students in your class that are Americans. And I would say that is that type of relationships and friendships you will carry for the rest of your life. And that is that bond that you experience with the people from your culture but outside your country is something that I really remember from my international student days, as being one of the most cherished memories. So I would say definitely go for it. And if you want to experience US culture in more of a traditional way, this is a great town to be.
Well, thank you, Kate, so much for taking the
Yeah,
time to talk to us about your experiences at UW-La Crosse and
no
your own career.
problem.
It sounds like it was a great time, but also a lot of good things have come your way afterwards.
Absolutely.
So
Happy to be here.
yeah, we appreciate the chance to talk to you, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right.